Investors don't care whether you're doing funds or stocks or options or digital assets. They just want ease of use. And so that's really been our motto, is to make sure we continue to be a multi-asset platform for people who want to learn about investing, practice investing, and then actually partake in investing. My name is Lule Demmissie. I am the US CEO of eToro US. My background is a combination of traditional finance and fintech, and now getting into this space. We started out as one of the first brokers in 2007 who actually offered crypto, and then grew into a multi-asset platform that offers crypto, stocks, fractional shares, options that we just recently bought in the US, and then on top of it all, like, keep innovating on a bedrock of social investing elements, which includes having a massive social investing population of 30 million users globally and in over 100 countries. And ultimately what that means is when you have a usership of about 30 million, there's a lot of conversation that happens in the social network. And then on top of all of that, we kept on innovating on that social blueprint with things like copy, which allows you to see other individual strategies that you can either follow or copy. The reason why I think financial literacy is so important is that, we often talk about our health or our family's health or our looks or whatever it is that we feel intentionally conscious about in our lives. And money is one of those that frankly requires a lot more attention from all of us, but is a taboo. So I think why financial literacy is so important is it starts not only giving people the tool set to figure out the topic of money in terms of how to save, how to invest, but it also gives a safer space for piercing through the veil of that taboo around it. When you're thinking about social investing, it's of course important to make sure that you're thinking through the moral hazards of it. Whether that is, the concern that you might have people pushing an idea that's not well thought through. And so the reason why eToro really embraced the social investing platform is it wanted to do it in the context of its local regulatory obligations. And so when you do that, inevitably you end up innovating in the context of managing for social hazards. It's not a perfect sort of model, but it is as good as it gets in terms of ensuring that the growth of social investing, which is an inevitability, is done through the management of moral hazards as well. Just to give you a few examples, when you go into our website, we know exactly where you are. So your locality's regulatory framework is already baked into our experience, whether it's onboarding you and understanding you better. When you engage in our social feed, you need to be a transparent user. One of the things that I think is an anesthetic against these social hazards is not making people anonymous, right? So you have to be transparent about engaging in the social feed. And then lastly, if you try to talk about an investment idea, somebody can actually validate and see your holdings and see if you're actually eating the cooking that you're talking about, right? So there's things that you can do to manage the moral hazards in a way that still unlocks the power and the way that social media really makes it possible for regular people to engage in this very important wealth building space. Data is essentially the gold stream of what eToro is, right? So when you think about data, it comes in different forms, right? So one is the fantastic partnership we now have with Nasdaq, where it feeds into the actual market data that we provide our customers with Nasdaq's partnership, which is really exciting. And then the second area is data when it comes to how we give insight to investors and consumers at large. So whether that's a quarterly survey we do of investors, that's a regular investor research beat that we do, or our analysts and our thought leaders that are sharing how to sort of contextualize that insight, right? And then the other part of our data is actually at the core of our product offering. So whether it's the data of being able to see your positions on our platform to understand the universe of holders through our copy features that we have, whether it's data to understand, for instance, in any given day, you can see what's the most searched ticker symbol, what's the most traded ticker symbol, what's the ESG data sort of tag of a particular security, whether it's the E, the S, or the G. So data is at the heart of every kind of productization that we do at eToro. I feel like, at the end of the day, as a fintech, being associated with a business and an exchange that houses all of other fintechs, I think has so much synergies to it. Personally, it's the fact that I've always loved the Nasdaq story and the actual sort of companies that are associated with it. So it's super exciting in that personal sense as well. What I think is really exciting, the arc about what is the genesis of eToro, is that the brilliance of understanding the simplicity is important to the user base that we have. Most of our user base is either millennial or young Xers, and what I call sort of affectionately tomorrow's investors today. And so the brilliance of the simplicity of things is really important about eToro. The second thing that's really important is that understanding that social investing is the feature and not the bug. So everything is built off of that. So whether it's the marketplace of ideas that happen in that 30 million usership, or whether it's the innovations that we build on top of that, like copy and other kinds of abilities to see data based on what those 30 million users are doing. And then in addition, to continue to grow on that, we just recently launched a partnership with Twitter that allows us to actually take that social investing arsenal and take it now to the marketplace of a broader base of users that Twitter has. We see with the marriage of their hashtag searchability. So that, again, the idea is like more conversation that is accessible around investing is only a good thing. And our motto is to do that while we're managing for all the things that we need to know, make sure that investors know are handling with caution and research. What's next is always about growing engagement and being at the center of dialogue and being, frankly, the agent of facilitating that dialogue, right? When you are an innovator like eToro, you don't think you are the one that has to have the mic, right? You have to always make sure that what you're doing is amplifying systems that give other people the mic. So I think what's going to happen for us is really continuing the innovation that creates that network effect that we already have in our products. So whether that is innovating on our social network, on our user base, productizing our data, if you will, is going to be important. Whether it's engagement of new innovators that can be added to our platform, which we've just done recently as well through the acquisition of Bullsheets. So bringing innovators into our ecosystem is in our footprint to continue to bring the innovations of copy and other investing sort of innovations that are on top of that social footprint to the US market. We're so excited that we got our New York BIT license, which is a very hard license to get. And so we're hoping to be in the New York market actively serving New York customers within this year, and then so much more.